because it's something that we don't talk about often. For some reason, if people share that, they feel it's okay. I don't want to show my.
All right, welcome to Safe Space Conversations.
I wanted to get everyone's input on when it comes down to mental health because it's something that we don't talk about often. For some reason, if people share that, they feel it's okay. I don't want to show my weak side, but I figure let me get some strong men in the room, okay? Some strong men in the room who's like, I'm okay with having this discussion, and hopefully it's going to help others who are viewing this conversation as well as those who are listening on the audio to say, you know what, if those fellas, if those guys, if those strong men can share and just handle business while juggling what they're dealing with, I can do it too. Okay. All right. So tonight we're talking about mental health and wellness. And because of the men I have in the room, I wanted us to have this conversation. I'm going to start off with you, Wes. Being an assistant principal, you've studied history, you've studied education. What's your take on the current mental health? What we've been told is a mental health crisis happening. What are your thoughts on that with your encounter with students, parents, and teachers in the New York area?
Year as a assistant principal, and this is my 16th year in education. But I also, for the last, let's say 12 years, I've worked in transfer schools. They're like back in the days what we used to call alternative schools. And basically just about maybe 90% of the kids that come to us sometimes deal with some mental health issues or
What
some
did you
trauma.
say? 90%?
Because the type of school is for people who
Wow.
are over age and undercredited. So they deal with a lot outside, it was from home for different situations. So in my role, every day is a little different because I'm dealing with different situations. Sometimes just one situation could take me the whole day, either, the conversations that I'm having with students kind of get the support that they need. So, and the beauty of the school that I work in is very small. So in the school I'm at right now, it's only 140 students right now, but we try, sometimes it's anywhere to 140 to 170.
Oh,
And but with the things that we're able to do, not many schools are able to do that. So one of the things I've noticed with kids, if they come out with, like, if they dealing with whatever situation, it's hard and tough for them to even focus when it comes to school, right? So it's like, I could talk about some experiences. Like one student that I had came into my class. This was when I was in the classroom still, and came in just crying with tears. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? So that morning, him leaving the house to go to school, I guess the officer, he had an encounter with an officer where kind of grabbed him and, hey, do you have anything on you? Let me search you. He's like, yo, I'm just trying to go to school. Right. So, and that's something that some of the kids have to deal with all the time. So him coming in with tears, it's like he's not gonna the focus. I couldn't just go into a lesson and let's start teaching, let's start learning. It's more about how am I putting out time to kind of address that situation, what's going on with you. Um, but I think the difference now, like I think back then, still new to teaching, I didn't know really. We had a conversation. That part was good, but then like, what else? What happens afterwards? What kind of resources are there for, or who do I send them to, right? To kind of talk to support them. We have a few social workers that works with us, that I can point them out to after that conversation. Hey, you can go speak to this person. There's more resources. I have more information ways I can support that student.
Oh, thank you for sharing. Now, do you feel, because you're a big brother, that played a part in it too, like having real life scenarios with your siblings and then coupling that with education gave
Everything
you the
about that.
compassion? Or
Yes.
not really?
No, it does. I'm the oldest out of 11, right? My mother and father had 11 kids. So growing up, I had to be in charge, help take care of my younger brother and sisters. So the approach is, super different, even though, yeah, it's super different. So I know different kids, how to approach them, the conversation that we have, and kind of connect with them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I think that being the big brother, it makes it easier. So sometimes, and also now being a dad, I'm a dad of three. So sometimes the kids is like, now it's like family. Every day they either in my office, just kind of connect and relate to kids. Some things I still do. Some of them are into. I'm still into, I'm a little older, but I'm still into a lot of what they're into. So that helps bridge that gap where that help facilitate certain conversation. And generally caring about kids, I think that's something that they don't really get much, which is
Mhm.
different from the school where I'm in. Usually when they're in the larger schools, because some schools have about, I don't know, when I was in high school, it was about maybe 4,000 students in the school. So some you don't even know who the administrator is. Um, but here, like in a smaller setting, I know if a student come in and they had a hard day, we know the stories because where I'm at in the transfer schools, we usually interview the family, have a conversation, get to know them, connect with family first. This gives me an opportunity to know the story, what's going on with them, the trauma, anything that they dealt with in other schools or whatever the case may be. So it makes it easier. So now when they're coming in, I know the story. Hey, what's going on? Is everything all right? How's your mom? How is your brother? Or for example, if we know there's a ton of my students where they've had issues with either law enforcement, they have issues with death, with friends, where it's like sometimes it affects them tremendously. So knowing that I can check in on them, hey, what's
Mhm.
going on? Is how's the family? So we know their personal story. We know the student really well.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. You are an amazing assistant principal, and it sounds like you are an amazing teacher to take the initiative to do that.
Different role models, and I realized I am where I am because of the mentorship. Military is huge on mentorship as well. Because like, hey, your career is growing. You're going to need someone who's where you want to be to tell you, hey, you might not want to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm learning these things, and now I'm getting an opportunity to be a mentor. It's forcing me to go back to my mentors and like, how do I do this? Because it's not just like you said, not just sit down and ask them, how was your day? Like the bullet points. Sometimes it's just saying, hey, I haven't spoken to you in a couple of days. What's going on? Like, what's really going on? And stuff like that. And building that relationship, which we did over so many years. Yeah. I got to the point, for once, only time I ever got a little snappy.
You sure it was only one?
That was only one. It's only one. Because I went home feeling bad and I had to repent about it. But I was upset about something. And like you said, maintaining that proper in the space. He could have went off on me. He just looked at me. I remember looked at me, was addressing me, and I was like, ooh. Because I remember coming back and apologizing. I was like, yeah, because I realized here's someone who wants to be in your life, wants to help you.
I want to pause there really quick. So, Mr. Johnson, for you to chime in on this, because what Wesley shared about the encounter his student had with law enforcement, I mean, just to let the audience know, I mean, you served to be a security for celebrities. You also served in the military. Thank you for your service. And one thing you shared off camera with me was you did all these steps to make sure your clients are protected. But when it came to a moment when you needed that protection, you experienced challenge. And that hit me. I was like, wow, there's so many of us who are in situations where we encounter challenging moments. And it's like, what do you do? So I would love for you to shed some light on what Wesley was sharing with the student, because I know you encountered your own experience with law enforcement. What are your thoughts on what this student experienced versus what you were sharing with me, wanted to make sure students are prepared in case they encounter a situation with law enforcement?
It's a very complicated situation. I am a victim of police brutality. So today, my interactions with police from the time before to now has changed only because of I have to understand that not all police are my friend. Not sitting there saying that it's a good or bad thing. It's just that you got to take it case by case. And the thing is, that's hard for children, not children, but younger adults to understand that as well because they like that's something I was 40 was 41 when I got into this with the police and then tried to talk my way out of it and realized it was past talking. And that's just what it is. It's more of like you could do your best, but the thing is sometimes even your best falls short. And that's I guess is it's a question within itself. How do we make sure that what happened to me doesn't happen to anybody else? It it once again is a case by case because it ain't like my situation happened because of my mental health. I had what the kids call crashed out. So it's one of those situations. But the thing is, my training kicked in, and then I'm currently in a situation with Veterans Court because my training kicked in too well. Now I'm in a situation where I'm fighting for my freedom and I'm fighting for just some type of normalcy. And that's the one thing like I want to tell kids like, listen, once you get emotional with the police, is it goes bad from there because then they're gonna get emotional and because they have that badge, it is always gonna end. It's not gonna end well for you and it's just because that's just the machine we call government. They get inducted into this. They have a job to do, but sometimes just people forget that they're people too. The police they forget they're people, and then that's that's the problem. That's
Yeah, and
I try to laugh it off, but the thing is, it's more of I'm trying to still to this day figure out why would somebody feel the need to put hands on somebody like they did to me because they give me a nice little beating.
With a whole collective group of powerful different members in our community, different members from the Divine Nine, a lot of different popular or common historic black fraternities are here, leadership representing the entire criminal justice system, advocates, community workers. Scroll around and take a look at just like all the different type of networks here. This is an important time, a good opportunity for myself and all the different leaders in the community to talk to a lot of young black men out in the community about the importance of being able to succeed, the things that they can do, the driving forces behind how I was successful, and sharing that with the youth. Because at this point in time, this juncture, it's a great opportunity for us to really capitalize on the opportunities that a lot of our forefathers and a lot of the sacrifices that they made to get us here.
you're trained in the military. So it's not like you mentioned, your training kicked in. So that's why I feel it's so important for us to have these conversations and like what Wesley was sharing about having systems in place. And here it is, you were trained and you encountered a situation, but your training kicked in. And this is the part where I feel we're lacking as a community, where we're not doing simulation training, as much as we want to think everything is unicorns and everybody's going to be in our side. But unfortunately, sometimes people, when they look at the strong men that's in this room and off camera, my husband is off camera, where they don't see, wow, the 16 years of education. They don't see the 30 years in the Navy. They don't see the years in the military, mixed martial arts, owning a business, being a security professional for celebrities. they're seeing the color of your skin. They're seeing a strong man. And whether you're in music, in government, it's sad, but it's a reality. And how do we juggle this reality that we deal with? You know, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, okay, I cannot be mad at all police officers. All police officers are not bad. They're great police officers. There are people who are equipped to serve. They love their job and they take their time and do their due diligence. But there are others who just see you as aggressive. And I wish that wasn't the case. I have a son, he's our middle child. And I found myself, especially during the pandemic after the George Floyd situation, I found myself being extra hard on him. I mean, he's just trying to play. He's just trying to live his life. I'm like, no, you got to be careful.
Hey, what's up, sis? You call me?
Hey, bro, what's going on?
No, I'm chilling. I'm getting ready to go for a run, you know?
A run? What do you mean?
You know, I like to get on a run before, you know,
Like that? With a
the
hoodie?
start. Yeah, it's
A
kind of
black
cold.
hoodie.
Yeah, black's my favorite color, you know?
Do you not see
Brown.
what's going on?
No.
All
Oh,
these
my
pictures of African
mask.
Americans.
Right, I forgot my mask. You're right. I'm sorry. Did I miss something? I don't know. I haven't watched the news this past weekend. You know how I feel about the news.
All right. I guess I have to get my hashtags ready. Hashtag justice for Anthony. Hashtag pray for Anthony's family. Hashtag RIP Anthony. Or you want to be a moral painter. You want to be on Winwood's walls. Hashtag rest in peace Anthony. Hashtag NAACP. Another one.
For running? I'm confused.
Yeah,
It's like, what happened?
It's not just running. You're black.
And we have to be careful. And it's sad that we are the only race, we are the only demographic that have to be like, you know, conscious about what we wear when we go outside. And why is that? Why is it that our cultural garb is deemed as a threat to others outside? So, Ebony, you had an emotional outbreak because you have an emotional attachment to your brother. So it's one of those things where you want to be able to protect, and the only way you can protect is to show them how you're feeling at the specific moment, where your brother's like, I'm just going jogging. And he may not understand. And in his mind, he's like, well, I don't think that no one has the right to tell me I can't jog in what I want to wear. And he's right. And he's absolutely right. No one should have to tell, no one should make him feel bad for wanting to wear a black hoodie and a black hat and a black mask, being black in whatever neighborhood he wants to jog in. But it seems like, unfortunately, that's not the reality today. And it's a sad thing. It really is a sad thing.
You know, and in my mind, I didn't say it out loud in the beginning, like, you're a black boy. You can't do the same thing other people do. But eventually, my husband and I, we had to have that tough conversation to explain, this is why we're so hard. This is why you can't just do whatever you want to do at the park. You can't just go wherever you want to go. You can't wear the same color clothes, black hoodie. I got upset with my husband about that. He went for a jog in the morning, and he used to go jogging in the morning time. And I was like, I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, you need to wear some bright colors. You need to wear white. He's a tall 6'4" black man, 6'5". You say 6'3". I really think you're taller than that, but whatever. But he's this tall, big guy running on the block. And I'm trying my best not to project fear, but it's hard. You know, so I want to bring down the smiling, you're this, from what I've seen, that God, you're all about business, organized, 30 years in the Navy, but you also have dealt with PTSD, which you've said, you're okay with sharing. And I was so shocked to learn that. I was like, what? And you're able to maintain that. And you have to not only say, hey, I'm retired, I'm out, I've done my job, I've done my service, but you've actually taken a step further to be a support system to veterans, to be a support system to people in the community. And I'm like, when do you get time to sleep? What would be the first thing you would say we need to tackle to help with this mental health crisis that's happening in our communities? Money was not a problem. It's like, okay, boom, we have $1 million. We can invest in this particular system or model.
I think there's a stigma with mental health, and the stigma is, you're weak, you're crazy, and, and all different things. So I think if money is not the issue, then education. I think that's the key to PTSD. A lot of people, I shouldn't say PTSD, but for mental health, a lot of people don't understand it, because of the stigma that goes along with it. So to me, I think education, would be a key. If everybody could learn a little bit about mental health, and hey, you're not weak if you seek help. You're strong, and it makes you a better person and a more productive person. So I think education would be key.
All right, so yesterday in our TFG365 City Cafe, our virtual cafe, we had a great discussion during our safe space conversations. My husband was working behind the scenes. Shout out to you, babe.
I was in a safe space.
We had 30-year Navy veteran Don Williams, part of the conversation, as well as Wesley Toussaint. He's been in education for 16 years. And we had Marcus Johnson. He joined the conversation. He was in the military, served in the military. He had his own security business where he provided security services for celebrities. So it was a virtual room filled with powerhouses across the board. So what was your takeaway? What would you say? And get some sun in your, how come the sun gotta be hitting you? Move over some.
I can't. I'm tall.
Okay, that's fine. You guys can see him. Can you? Is it just me?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. Well, you can hold it. Oh, okay. All right. So that's good. Ooh, I like this. We're matching. All right. So during the show, you're working audio and doing behind the scenes stuff that you do. What would you say is your top 3 takeaways from yesterday? Maybe one from each of our guests.
I kind of like start off with Mr. Johnson. He the fact that he was open and vulnerable when he said that I wish that I would have sought help earlier. So like sometimes we as men we think that we can figure things out all on our own. And sometimes we bury our emotions and bury our hurt, our feelings, instead of seeking help to deal with it. So that way, if a situation was to come up, it doesn't blow up and then you hurt yourself, you hurt other people. Maybe not necessarily physically, but you end up pushing away people that only has your best intention at heart. So certain things I wish I could have, I personally could have sought help earlier. So that was an encouragement. And with Don, the fact that he's very supportive of people in the armed force, whether you're active military, reserve, or you're retired. He's always a big advocate for them and helping them out as much as he can, given that the wealth of knowledge and experience that he has in military forces and so on. And of course, Wesley, the fact that he is he advocates for students, but not only that, he works in the school system, and he likes the idea of community, like getting to know not just the student but the entire family, so that way they can address situations at its core, not necessarily just, oh, the kid is rebellious, but well, let's find out why. Oh, okay, this is a family dynamic situation. How can we work with the family to make things better? So yeah.
Yay. My heart is full. I'm encouraged, and we're gonna get going. Make sure to head over to our cafe on TFG365 events. I'm sorry. TFG365cityevents.org. Okay, we created that website just for you, so you can get plugged in. You can watch the recaps, share it with your friends, and share what was your takeaway. TFG365 City, your digital getaway to prepare for the next level. We're so glad you stopped by to visit us today. My name is Unique Jackson. It's an honor to serve as the mayor of this beautiful city. We believe that unwavering determination, innovation, and grit prove that there are endless opportunities regardless of one's background or visual limitations. Imagine being young and full of potential, yet feeling lost and unheard. The world feels like it's rushing forward, leaving you behind in this ever-changing technology, and your dreams appear distant. Here at TFG365 City, we're all about empowering you to break down barriers and shatter stereotypes. We encourage you to rewrite the story of what's possible on your career journey.